Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cricket Nerds podcast. The best time of your day is watching us talk about cricket because we like to do that. And how are you, James?
I'm excellent, mate. Despite the fact that Punjab are now knocked out of the IPL, I'm doing all right. You know, I've got a positive outlook on life. I think I'm gonna support RCB's journey, especially if they can make it to the playoffs, because I want to see something different. You know what I mean? And
it could be a short journey.
Yeah, it could be a very short journey if they revert to type. But you know, seeing big Virat Kohli come back to form is always a good feeling. How about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I feel very positive. I think before we look into the game, even if Royal Challengers don't go through because of the results, I'm just happy with the way that they played this last game, because it's shown the strength of RCB. It's shown the damage that they could cause and that they can cause. So I'm happy with the performance today. I think it's been really good. But it all started with Gujarat Titans coming out to bat, and it was slow going really for the most part, until Hardik Pandya kind of stepped up as the captain, played a handy knock for them.
Yeah, Gujarat made it look really difficult, I thought. Like, you know, when you look at their scorecard, you kind of see like there were pretty decent scores. You got 31, 62, 34. And they were all sort of that's a handy looking scorecard. That's absolutely fine. But they're all sort of around the 130, 120, 140 mark, like just sort of middling strike rates. So it wasn't particularly fast, which made me think when I first saw it, I was like, oh, maybe this is a bit of a slow pitch. And actually Gujarat have muscled out a really good total here, especially with Rashid's dutty wrists at the end. You know, it's so good to watch. I love watching him bat. And, you know, when he did that, it was quite an interesting innings, I thought, from Gujarat, because, yeah, it made me think that RCB hadn't actually bowled that well, just from the way that it kind of looked like they just grinded out a score from a slow pitch. I don't know what you thought, especially, yeah, like Hardik sticking around for facing 47 deliveries and only getting 62 runs, which, yeah, what do you think?
Well, it was only the last 2 or 3 overs, even maybe not even that, the last over probably, where Hardik Pandya actually looked like he was trying to smack the ball. And I don't know if that shows that it's pretty tough going, or whether he feels like he needed to be there at the end. Because I think Royal Challengers bowled okay, especially Hasaranga de Silva. He looked really good. And Glenn Maxwell, his first 3 overs, he got 1 for 10 in his first 3 overs, and he was bowling really well. But there was a bit of an issue where Harshal Patel had to go off the pitch and wasn't able to bowl, which meant that there were 3 overs that we had to give elsewhere, which meant that Mahapal Lomror got an over, and he hasn't bowled this tournament. And then Siddharth Kaul, who's not played a game all tournament, he had to have all 4 of his bowled, and he went at over 10.5 and over. So yeah, it meant that, because Harshal Patel, you want to bowl at the death, and it meant that we leaked 45 runs in the last 3 and a bit overs, which wasn't ideal. And I think if Harshal was there, we might have got a little bit less, because he's a bit better at bowling to players like Rashid Khan and Hardik Pandya. But overall, I thought we bowled really well. We didn't really give much to the Gujarat Titans. We bowled nice, tight lines and lengths, didn't give much away. But I just think Hasaranga de Silva and Josh Hazlewood, bar that anomaly of the last game with Hazlewood, I think they've been great picks. I don't know what you think about them getting picked up for RCB.
I think they make the RCB bowling lineup. And they're such good prospects as well, because realistically, even though Josh Hazlewood's been around for a long time, he's only really found his feet as a T20 bowler in the last couple of years. And he has that uncanny ability to transfer his knowledge and consistency from Test, but also he's developed more skills and variations for T20, which is always great to see. And he's still got like a couple of years left in his prime, I think. And then Hasaranga, just as a bowler, he's very, very good already. And he's so young that he's a bit of a diamond in the rough potentially. He could be one of the next best leg spinners of all time. We don't know what his ceiling is at the moment, but like when he's on song, he is so good. And that googly is just, it's such a nasty delivery. I would hate to face it. So yeah, it's exciting, and it's definitely exciting to see for RCB. Even if think results don't go their way, if Delhi win and they don't make it to the playoffs, it's exciting for them in subsequent IPL seasons because they've got this side of exciting players, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at teams now a bit. So it's so cool to see Kohli back in form, and I want to hear your views on the big three of Kohli, Du Plessis, and Maxwell.
Well, it's been a long tournament, and we've waited so long for these three players to all perform for Royal Challengers in a game, and boy did they, and it was great to watch. I mean, Faf du Plessis was quite slow in his scoring, but that's why he's there. He's there to anchor the innings, to play the captain's knock. Well, the likes of Kohli, Maxwell, and Kartik bat around them, and this innings couldn't have gone more perfectly, really, because we got to the 10 over mark without losing a wicket. Normally we get to the power play and we're 2 or 3 down. So that was a massive bonus. And Virat Kohli, he was a man on a mission, and he didn't want to give anything away. He didn't want to give anything to the bowlers. When the bowlers bowled good, he was happy to play it out. And then when Maxwell came in, he just didn't hang around. And some of the shots that he played were outrageous. Like,
he's so entertaining when he's on song.
The shots behind square on the leg side, the ramps, all of them, it was, and just powerful strikes down the ground. Like, he's got it all. And they call him the Big Show for a reason, because that's what he puts on. But at the same time, I think Royal Challengers were quite lucky. There was a ball, there were quite a few balls that went behind square for 4 that could have easily been chopped on. Glenn Maxwell, there was a ball which hit his stumps, but the bails didn't dislodge. There were a few direct hits that were when we were in our crease, and when they missed the stumps, we would have been out of the crease. So there were just little things that went our way. But when you've had a tournament where luck's been, sometimes it's not been there for Royal Challengers. I think it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, when it comes to luck in cricket? So some days you're going to have it, some days you're not. But to finish with an over and 2 balls to spare has given us a net run rate, which is kind of respectable. But yeah, it was just great to watch. We didn't need half of batters. Dinesh Karthik only needed 2 balls, and yeah, Rajat Patidar has been looking really good. Didn't even need him. So yeah, all in all, very happy as an RCB fan, and not much to talk about when it comes to Gujarat's bowlers.
No, a day to forget, I think. Other than Rashid Khan taking a couple of wickets, which is always good to see. He's always pretty much the pick of the bowlers. But actually, he's got the longest name of all time, so I dread reading it.
Well, you could just call him Kishore.
No, I will persist.
Okay.
Ravi Srinivasan Sai Kishore. There we go. I'll only ever read his name when he bowls well, and he did. He went over only 5 and over. So brilliant bowling from him, especially when everybody else, the class players like Shami, Pandya, and Ferguson are all going over 11 and over. So yeah, that was very impressive. But that was pretty much the only highlight for Gujarat, who I don't know if they're just sort of experimenting before like games actually matter again. But yeah, it was a good match, a very good match to win. So let's move on to Cricket Nerds questions. Absolute banging tune from Benji there. Thank you very much for singing every single time. So we've got a varied lot of questions, actually, because we've got some belated ones from the test match video, which we'll go over now. These two are from PD, who is, we love you, PD, because you're a constant source of Cricket Nerds questions, and we're big fans of that. So the first one, do you reckon Baz McCullum can help Rory Burns find a new fire in himself? I believe Burns is a bit lost at the moment, but a very capable and better than decent batsman. All he needs is some backing from the management group and to gain some confidence. Zach, I'll let you go for this one.
If I'm honest, I don't think Burns will get picked for England for a long time, maybe if ever. I think he's had his chance. We're looking elsewhere now. Unless he comes into some ridiculous form, I don't think Brendan McCullum's going to have much of an effect on Burns' career, because I don't see him playing for England again. And that's the honest truth of it. I think if he scores a few centuries and starts winning games for Surrey, then maybe. But Surrey have played on some pretty flat pitches this year, and he's not really made an impact at the moment. So, yeah, he's going to have to do something special to get picked back into the England team.
It's very true. Next question. He's actually said optional, which is a nice way to let us.
Let's not answer it then. No.
We'll never shy away from a CNQ. Just found out that an Aussie is going to coach the white ball team. I understand that these are pro coaches, but still, he's an Aussie. Thoughts? Well, I'm absolutely fine with an Aussie coaching us. I think it would always be like, there's always going to be that little bit of, thing in the back of your mind. Oh, are they going to have full loyalty? But one of our best coaches ever was Trevor Bayliss. Yeah, he did very well for us. So I've got no problem with it. I don't think you do either, Zach, do you?
No, like you said, Trevor Bayliss, he was one of our best ever coaches in terms of the one-day game, because he was the coach when we won our only World Cup, one-day World Cup. So I don't have an issue with it, I think.
And in English coaches aren't doing anything at the moment, are they?
No, as the best. If the best man is doing the right job, then it doesn't matter what nationality they
are. This isn't actually a CNQ yet, but I'm going to read it out anyway, because Ankit Singh said, fun fact, both Punjab Kings and Sunrisers lost against Gujarat Titans in the last ball. If they had have won, things would have been different for both teams. Thanks for that, Ankit. You've made me miserable.
Oh yeah.
And then he's given us two Cricket Nerds questions. So the first one, who do you think is the best spinner for T20 in India? Ooh. That is a good question, actually. I'm going to say Yuzvendra Chahal. I think he's got the ability to bowl on any sized ground with any sized boundaries, and he'll take wickets almost every single game. What do you think?
I'm going to agree. I think Yuzvendra Chahal. And that kind of links to what I was saying about Hasaranga, in terms of Hasaranga bowling for RCB. Yuzvendra Chahal used to bowl for RCB. There's something about these spinners who play for RCB. They're just really good.
I actually think that the Hasaranga will have learned quite a bit for that year that he spent, or was it only half a year, that he managed to spend with Yuzvendra Chahal. I think you learn so much when you're in the setup with those guys.
And there was also a lot of pressure on him as well, taking over from Chahal, because he had a massive price tag, and he's managed to have the same amount of wickets as Chahal's got this tournament. So yeah, he's done very well. But yeah, I would say Yuzvendra Chahal for 2020s for Test matches. Ashwin.
Yes. So next question: should Umran Malik play in the next T20 World Cup? I personally don't think so. I think he could be one of India's most exciting ever bowlers if he just carries on this trajectory, because nobody's bowling as fast as him in the world at the moment. He's genuinely exciting. So I do think he's a diamond in the rough at the moment. He's not refined. And you've seen it, that he can go for a lot of runs. So I think it'll be maybe at least one more year until he gets into that India side, I think, personally. What do you think?
I think he could get into it based on the excitement of his pace. I feel like that's a sort of move that India would potentially make. However, when you've got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, there are other options who are more reliable, and I think India go for the reliable options, especially in 2020. I don't see them picking Mohammad Siraj because he's a bit all over the place with the ball. And there's probably other Indians who have impressed more, but they just haven't bowled as well, as quickly. So Mohsin Khan, he's not the quickest bowler, but he's probably been the best Indian seamer in the whole of the IPL. But no one's talking about him because he doesn't bowl at over 150 kilometers per hour consistently. So, yeah.
Okay, the final Cricket Nerds question we're going to go to is with Baz coming in as the test coach, and this is from Shaijan and Jar. With Baz coming in as the test coach, what do you think the approach will be? Aggressive or traditional? I would thought they would have at least picked Livingston to give them a bit of much needed spunk. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Livingston hasn't really excelled at the first class level, and there's a difference between aggressive in first class and aggressive in white ball. So I don't think you can go into a red ball game and try and just smack everything for 6. Obviously, Ben Stokes potentially proved me wrong in that other county championship game, but you got to remember there were a lot of balls that he just played out. He played very sensibly for a lot of deliveries. So I don't know. I can see us being more aggressive than we have been, but I don't know. I don't see Livingston getting in the test side just yet. What do you think?
No, me neither. It makes me cringe a bit when you watch people like Joss Butler, who is a destructive white ball player, just fish outside off stump all day. I don't want to see Livingston do that. Livingston is there to smack the ball as hard as he can and as far as he can. And that's not the test game, is it? He's not bad in first class cricket. He's not got an awful record, but we need to see consistently over time that he's able to play well at the red ball level before he gets into the team.
Yeah, definitely. There are some more Cricket Nerds questions, but they're quite. I mean, one from Rick and Patel could take us a whole video, so we'll save that one for another time. So thank you very much for all your Cricket Nerds questions. Please send them in. We really enjoyed answering them. We're going to move on to a little stats with Zach section, who's going to tell us what possible table permutations could happen going forward for the qualifiers.
It's really easy because if Royal Challengers lost, then there'd be loads. But the fact that Royal Challengers won means there's only one game which can affect the top 4, and that's Mumbai versus Delhi. If Mumbai beat Delhi, come on Mumbai, then RCB will go through. If Delhi beat Mumbai, Delhi go through. That's it.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So watch the other podcast though for the other games. Right, come on.
Yeah. Put a shift in. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. It's been lovely again, as usual. We hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment all those things that you like to do and we like you to do. And also listen to us on whatever podcast channels and sites you like to listen to. So Spotify, Anchor FM, etc., etc. Also follow us on social media. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. And I believe that's everything. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.